You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver Media Podcast. The True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Miss V Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters. CanadianTarot.com, your uniquely Canadian online eclectic tarot community and forum, and the Peppermaster, hot pepper sauces made from fresh farm ingredients to thrill your taste buds and expand your mind.
Well, top of the morning to you. And hello, kids. Welcome to Season 3 and Episode 79 of the Daily Beaver here at the Crier Media Network. Today
That's
is
Scottish.
recording day. I know that.
Okay.
I know that. I'm kidding. Today recording day is Friday, March 17th, 2023. I was wondering if anybody would catch on. That means it'd be St. Paddy's Day here at the Beaver Lodge, and in honor of St. Patrick, well, we'll have rain, light rain, and a cloudy evening. So lots of variety.
Chin up, though. Looking forward to some drizzle upcoming in the next couple of days.
And maybe some sleet and some fog. Why not?
Exactly.
All the weather today. I'm your host, the Eager Beaver, pronouns he, him, hey, Mr. Beaver, eh? And, well, actually, I should say the other way. That's Mr. Grizzly, pronouns he, him, hey, Mr. Grizzly, hey? And with him, as usual, is me, the Eager Beaver. Ooh, kids. I did make it today, but normally I set the alarm for 6. I set it for 6:30 so I could get an extra half hour, and when it rang, I seriously debated whether I should roll out or roll over the other way and go back for another snuggle. It was not an easy get up this morning. Of course, a big thank you goes to our podcast's founding sponsors, the Peppermaster, the Miss V Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, and CanadianTarot.com. We're going to have a Friday morning bite for you. We won't be able to go very, very long like last week because I have a bus to catch because I'm going to Ottawa because on Saturday we're having the PubCast. I'm so happy. And of course, I'm wearing my lucky St. Patrick's Day shirt. It's green, but it's lucky because all of this keeps me alive. So this is my lucky shirt. That's what I'm saying. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. That's my spin. But hey, before we go any further, let's say hello to Mr. Grizzly, who's really, really in the spirit today. So good morning, Mr. Grizzly, and how is your mental health today?
Well, good day to you, sir. I'm quite fine, I'll tell you this.
Oh, it's lovely to hear that.
I'm a little tired. Didn't get much sleep last night. I went to bed shortly after I got off the pod with you there, but climbed into the bed and tossed and turned for a couple of hours. Eventually, I was able to drift off to Never Neverland, but woke up abruptly at 2 a.m. Don't know why.
That's prompt.
And in a panic. Like, I woke up from a dream that I was running to get to an operating room to help out with somebody who was getting an operation. I'm not a doctor and I don't know why.
He only plays doctor.
But it was an outdoor patio rooftop operation theater on the third floor of a hospital.
Ooh, was anybody serving cocktails?
No, but there was it was, look, man, if I told people that, and because of the medication, the dreams are extra vivid. If I fully told you all of the weird, bizarre dreams I have, you'd be like, I think you need more medication, Paul.
Take the edge off your dreams.
They're bizarre.
Rooftop operating table.
Yeah. I have no idea where did that come from? Why? I don't understand.
That's going to be the latest feature on real estate. It's got 37 rooms, 12 bathrooms, a tennis court in the backyard, and a helicopter landing pad, and on the roof an operating theater. It's
outdoor patio style.
It's all the rage.
All the kids are having it, you know.
It's the must-have in real estate this season. Oh man!
Does it have the Riz?
Yes, indeed. With a quick thank you to Mr. Otter, who helped me out last night. Don't think they're out yet. They're on YouTube yet, but not out as a podcast. But over the last 2 days, Mr. Grizzly and I, and then with the help of Mr. Otter yesterday, recorded take twos of our the morning shows that, well, first one was tech, so that wasn't technically me, even though I'm sure I pressed the thing on the computer at some point that caused the tech thing to happen. But I won't say it's me. Those were the gremlins. But yes, we're really trying to get a show out to you daily. So when we can't do it in the morning, we try to make it up to you at another point. So thank you very much for your patience and understanding, kids. And I am so very sorry that I was not as consistent and constant as I aim to be this week. Mr. Grizzly, do you have something to start us off with?
Yeah, I have one that's just a giant question mark. Well, there's, of course, because of all the doom and gloom with the banks crashing around the world, I can just put this, we're on fire. And
this is fine.
This is fine. But this is the thing that I saw this on the Twitter somewhere. I don't remember where I saw it. And I had to cut and paste it because what the bloody hell is this? Take back Alberta.
Next. I like the A in the logo. Sort of looks like a mountain, but if you put two dots, black dots on it, slight hoodie-ish.
Yeah.
Well,
and it's bizarre because if it was a mountain,
and wouldn't the white be on top?
Yes, precisely. I'm like
that's what gave me the woody, the hoodie feel from that.
Yeah, it should be reverse of that because snow is on the top of the mountain. The mountaintop is not bald in the bottom.
Yeah.
This is a dog whistle.
Oh, definitely.
Tell me I'm wrong. I mean, come on.
No.
Take back Alberta for the people. Make sure you send in your mail-in ballots and make your voice heard. So who are they going to take it back from?
Yeah. As soon as you see take back, it's take back, free thinker, truth seeker, patriot, alpha.
A few years ago, a friend of mine posted something like similar to that on Facebook. He says, "We're taking back Canada," and I responded to him with, "From whom exactly?"
From Cold Dead Hands.
And he just went, "Well, we're," and I said, "Please explain to me who we're taking it from." Because we've already taken it from the indigenous people of this nation, the First Nations people, the Inuit.
I'm sure the conversation goes well from the point you say that.
Well, no, actually, he retracted the statement and said, "You know what? You're right." He says, "I just sort of got the idea that we can do something to make a change," and I go, "Yeah, we can. It's called vote." He retracted the statement and apologized and said I didn't think of it that way. And I said no, and that I wasn't attacking you. I was literally asking you the question. Who are we taking? He's a good guy. He's a good guy. And he's the product. His parents are immigrants too. So once sometimes somebody sees a slogan and they don't think about the fact that much of it is a dog whistle. And I was once like that until
you
somebody
don't know until you know.
Exactly. Somebody pointed it out to me. Well, Paul, this is what this means. And I went, really? I did not know that. So, once you know, once you know better, you do better. And that was the case with this guy. I mean, we're still good friends. We don't see each other very often, but every now and then we'll have a nice conversation. He's a good guy. He employs a lot of people. And he just, he thought he was on the side of good. But when I explained to him what it really meant, he went, oh, well, whoa, hey, whoa. So, yeah, it went well.
Oh, well, that's refreshing to hear.
Well, the thing about having friends that have differing opinions and differing viewpoints and differing political aspirations or political bents or leans or whatever the case may be, if you're friends and you're adults, you can have a conversation about these things. They don't have to be shouting matches or screaming, you're wrong, I'm right. It doesn't have to be that way. There's nuances to all of it, and you can have the conversation and say the things that, well, here's why this concerns me, your statement. And when it's somebody I don't know screaming in my face, my first response, my automatic response is fight, not flight.
Yeah.
I've had to defend myself throughout my entire life because I used to get picked on as a young boy, and that's built into me. Defensive position. I played defense and goal in hockey, for crying out loud.
Mm-hmm.
I was a defender and a goalkeeper in soccer. So that's, it's my nature is to defend. So I feel I'm being attacked, I will fight back. But if it's a friend of mine and when we're having a conversation and they can say something that could be completely out of whack and deplorable, it'll get heated, but it'll be a conversation, not a shouting match.
Right.
And maybe neither one of us will change each other's minds, but we're like, well, oh well, how about another pint? Right?
Right.
Because we're still friends in the end. And
that's the thing, is that you're never, politics should never become so much your identity that you start dispatching your friends.
Well, as I've said many times before, and I'll continue to say it till the day I die, I refuse to belong to any political party. I have a certain amount of disdain for all of them. Right? I hold them in the same regard. And look, it boils down to this. I've voted for all major parties in different elections, dependent upon the riding I was living in and the candidates that were placed in front of me. That being said, the last federal and the last provincial election, there was no way on earth I could vote Conservative, because it's not the Conservative Party, it's the Reform Party under a new name, number one. Number two, I don't like the direction they've headed. It's when you have, Hugh Siegel, a former progressive conservative senator, Hugh Siegel, who started the Universal Basic Income project. He's trying to get it launched, get it off the ground. He wrote a book called Bootstraps Need Boots. And he just wrote a piece the other day talking about this interference, which is, this is a good man. This is a good man who I would vote for in a heartbeat. And he's a progressive conservative, progressive being the key word there. Mm-hmm. Progressive conservatives believe in good, sound social policies that will help each other. One of my dear friends who has been a lifelong progressive conservative has voted NDP in the last few elections because he just cannot support that party that he once supported. He says, I am a conservative and I'm voting NDP because that is not a conservative party. That's a reform party that will destroy this country. He says, I believe in giving people a hand up, not a handout. Mm-hmm. So we got on the discussion of a UBI, and he says, when I explained how jobs are disappearing, how AI is taking away jobs, and how our buddy sitting with us at the table told us point blank, my job as a computer programmer within 5 years, what I do will not be done by human beings. Mm-hmm. I have another friend who works in border services, and he told me point blank, and I'm sure you've seen it if you've traveled from abroad and come home. When you when you land, the chances are you won't even see a person. You go to a kiosk,
Mhm.
you scan your passport, you answer a bunch of questions. They have them in Montreal, Toronto,
Yep.
Ottawa, all the bigger airports of the bigger cities have these. They're replacing human beings with robots, literally robots.
Yeah, I mean, what I used to do translation, anything that's written, that's going by the wayside too. Simultaneous interpretation may stick around for a while yet, but yeah, that's
It's
gone. That's
it's
going
a
too.
yeah, it's a disappearing thing. It's
Yep.
all kinds of jobs will not exist in a few. They have. So one of the things I'm pursuing with this is to do voiceover work because I pride myself as a voice actor who's able to change his voice whenever it's appropriate there for a customer if they need me to do a radio commercial or a narration for a video or something like this, you see. But here's what's happening. They have AI that does that now. So you pay a software company for an AI chatbot
Mhm.
that does the voiceover. So it's like, what the hell am I going to do in 10 years' time? So if we don't have a UBI,
Yep. It's all going to be about value added. And since you're mentioning him, I've got his piece here. It's not very long, so I'm going to read it because it's worth it.
please do.
It appeared in the Toronto Star, among other places, and it was called "Accuracy of Leaked CSIS Documents is Not Clear, so Let's Not Overreact" by Hugh Siegel. It is possible that Canada's Security Intelligence Service is unofficially correct, and that the People's Republic of China embassies, consulates, and United Front networks and agents have been and are involved in specific efforts to unlawfully impact the outcome of Canadian federal elections. After all, Australia's security services has openly discussed evidence relating to their election, and European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen pointed out that European countries must keep up their guard against these interferences. But one wonders what the summary is about the perceived incoherence of Canada's security establishment reported. Leaks,
Mm,
leaks from national security organizations are against the law and are currently being investigated by the RCMP. Further, the chicken little nature of the official opposition is apparently resistant to demonstrating any balance or regard for a measured or broad national interest beyond its own narrow coyote approach to public discourse. Yes, there are. That's his own party. Well, not his party, but what his party's become that he's talking about there. That's a scathing indictment right there.
it is.
Yes, there are questions to be answered, but rather than cooperating in an effort to get those answers, the gotcha moments appear to be far more important. Unfortunately, political gamesmanship can put peoples in harm's way and has been shown by the 300% rise in the anti-Asian hate crimes. Inflaming segments of the public who might use the information as rationale for taking matters into their own hands is dangerous and racist. As for the media, some seem to favor the instant over the substantial. Any suggestion that China or Russia or Iran interfered in our elections must be investigated. However, any suggestion that classified information must be made public or shared is not acceptable. I would hope the media understands the difference. Media hasn't been making the case. The media has been inviting a couple of guests on now and then who make the case, but the media
Mhm.
has not been making the case. That is not consistent and integrated into the narrative. A conjured up crisis about how our Canadian national security was organized, or not, would
Mhm.
generate more dislocation, misunderstanding, disunity, and apparent national and political incoherence than any alleged gaggle of Chinese spies or agents hovering around or elected to Parliament. Boom.
Yeah.
Right now, right now, what Pierre Poliver and friends are doing and all their media, independent and legacy cooperators and aiders and abettors are right now doing a hatchet job on Canada that China could only dream of having the means of doing.
It's true.
Right now, they are doing Chairman Xi's work. It's just what's going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they're popping bottles in Beijing right now. So they can't believe their luck. Seriously. Man. In other words, the purveyors from within Canada's political establishment with no Chinese connection could and would do more harm to Canada's competitive interests with the PRC than some potential Chinese agents. As I just said, I guess I knew where he was going with that. It's as if some of the actors in our political media system have drunk from the same fountain of odd fluids. drinking from the fountain of odd fluids. I think I might steal that one. That generate a loss of measured judgment and a tendency to overstate what could threaten national security and dilute any actual facts that protect our democracy. And that appears to be the conservative goal right now, is to try and fuzzy up absolutely everything. So there's no difference between anything. Right? Public inquiries can be helpful. They can also lead down dark roads, especially when sources, for various reasons, are secret sources that need to stay secret. Should these sources be forced to discuss their intelligence on the record in public, they would weaken the mission of protecting Canada and Canadians from foreign assaults on our human rights, economy, and armed forces. Further, they could imperil Canadian diplomatic and immigration personnel worldwide. And this is what the Conservatives are calling for the government to do at the moment. Just weaken our protections against foreign assaults on our human rights, economy, and armed forces, and imperil Canadian diplomatic and immigration personnel worldwide. That's what the Conservatives are asking for. Without asking for it, because, I mean, if you come to the mic and say, we want you to do this, release everything, we don't care who it hurts, then that's not popular. So we have to say that everything the government's doing is legitimate, and we need it wide and open. Public and open. Public and open. The words public and open to Conservatives, when it comes to inquiry, do not mean what the words public and open mean to the rest of us. Because Conservatives love to have fun with words. It's a common Conservative trick. They take everyday words that we all know the definitions to, and then they ascribe them totally new meanings, like treason or freedom.
I don't
or
know
the law.
if you. I don't know if you saw yesterday's stream that I when I went. I railed on Pierre Poliver about. He was screaming about, where did the money come from to get this battery company? Where did it come from? How much Canadians? Like you.
Like it's like what, Pierre. Isn't that Jagmeet's shtick?
Yeah.
Since when do Conservatives worry about how much money, how much of our money that we funnel to a corporation? It's like, really, you have a problem with Volkswagen? Okay, now do oil and gas.
Please.
The thing that you shill for, oil and gas, the thing that you put it in so that people buy it.
Why wasn't he complaining about the $300 million invested into the province of Nova Scotia for a Michelin tire center building tires for EV vehicles? $143 million from the province was invested as well. Yes. So
because the tires for the EV vehicles, right? Tires for EV vehicles doesn't stop the sale of gas, but EV vehicles stops the sale of gas, though.
Oh, so that's right. So he won't rail on about the billions of dollars in corporate welfare we've granted to oil and natural gas.
Oh, no. Oh, absolutely not. No.
Because he's in their pocket. Or they're in his, you know what I mean? They own his ass.
No, oil and gas is not an industry. It's vital to the nation. Without the whatever percent to the economy, to the GDP that oil and gas specifically add, we would all shrivel up and die. Because we would be creative enough to pivot or diversify or find something else. We would just all stay there and say, oh my God, we used to have that 12 to 15% and now we don't have it anymore. And there's nothing we can do to recover it or do something else. I guess we're just meant to be people for the small bread.
Well, it's like he's trying to prop up the horse buggy whip industry, right? You needed a whip for your horse and buggy, right? So that industry, we're going to prop that one up too while you're at it, Pierre. You got to remember something about oil and gas. Oil and gas are not going anywhere anytime soon. We're going to switch how we use the products. Instead of burning fossil fuels to transport ourselves in our own personal vehicles, we're going to switch to batteries. It's also cheaper for us. We're going to switch oil and gas to the things that we need to use it for on an everyday basis. Like, for example, go and get surgery without oil. Like half the stuff in a theater of operation, an operation theater, a surgery center, oil-based.
Petroleum-based product, yep.
There you go.
Yeah, we're going to need it. So, I mean, it's like, just like, unbounced the panties. sit down and let's have a conversation about the actual future. Right? Rather than, oh my God, you're going to change things from the way they are now and we're all going to hell in a handbasket. Okay, well, if you want to jump all the way to that part, then great for you. But I mean, that's not what we're here to talk about. So we're not there yet. To finish off Mr. Siegel's article, our government's what the hell? Just
your computer it farted on you, did it?
It did, yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. So, further, they could imperil Canadian diplomatic and immigration personnel worldwide. Our governments in power need to worry about this. Coyote-style opposition parties and their media fans do not. See? The People's Republic of China could very well use the current sowing of discord as a tool equally as helpful as actual espionage or political interference, just as the Russians had a major impact on U.S. politics by floating the Donald Trump conspiracy, partially true or utterly false. So, too, would the Chinese see benefit in the apparent overwrought Canadian establishment's both media and political quixotic overreaction to a leaked CSIS document whose accuracy is less than clear. Canada has gone through real crises, 2 world wars, the Depression, the War Measures Act, the 2008 recession, and Trump, to name a few. The powers that be in Parliament, government, and the media did not lose their heads. There is no reason to do so now. Boom. Boom.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What we've been trying to do on the show for you kids is to try and, bring the down. Right? Because as Kit Hughes said early in the conversation, and as we say often in the show, emotion shorts out critical thought.
Yes, it does.
It makes you bypass that logic and reasoning center up there.
Yes. And it goes straight for the old school fight or flight.
Yep.
Right.
So that's why we had Mubin come on to say, to try and give us in the earlier days, a lay of the land. What's true, what's not true, what's being claimed that can't possibly be true, given basic civics and how things operate. We had I think you sent it to me, Mr. Grizzly, on in the Twitter. There was a senator. I had made the note because I had heard the interview. Senator Vern White was talking about it, and I've got it right here.
Former police chief for the city of Ottawa.
Yes, exactly. So I've got it right here. Mr. Grizzly, if you would put it up. Okay, I'm just going to pause that. Pause that. There we go. Okay, try that.
Blow it up.
About the politics of this, because as we just said, Pierre Poilievre has talked
about just hit the corner.
He suggested that they're under the control of the Prime Minister. You used to be a conservative. I know you left caucus, but what do you think about hearing that from
that's obviously is BS. They're not under control. Look, our work was done unfettered, until the report goes forward. And then there's strict rules on things that need to be redacted. Read the legislation.
What are the consequences then, do you think? You call it BS. What are the consequences of him saying that?
Well, I think the consequences that I think he's allowing the politics to take over, the same as Eric O'Toole did, to be fair, when he refused to put members on that committee. That was a mistake as well, because my perspective was that committee should be representative of the House and the Senate. And I think it's too bad that we allowed politics to get in the way for a short period of time a couple of years ago. And it's too bad now, and I won't be surprised that maybe Pierre will pull his folks off it like Aaron did. I'm not sure. But it's too bad, because I think this committee does great work. Nobody has questioned this committee's independence. Whether we have former ministers, a number of ministers under Stephen Harper's time sitting on that committee, not one of them ever questioned the credibility of that committee. And it's disappointing to hear people question it. At the end of the day, as I said, I think they're perfectly situated to handle this.
So that's Vern White, a former conservative senator, police officer, saying what the Prime Minister's been saying, or said originally, that the NSICOP was probably the best venue to do this. But that wasn't good enough for the people that wanted open and public. And Mr. Singh's a little guilty here too.
Oh, yeah, he is.
On that one. So the claims from the opposition parties, now not so much Mr. Singh, although he wants a public inquiry, but he's putting himself on the noble side for the noble reasons. But we couldn't trust Rosenberg from the committee who wrote the report. We couldn't trust him because once in his life, he worked at the Trudeau Foundation.
Which
we can't trust Governor General David Johnston, even though he was the president of University of Waterloo, and the Trudeau Foundation basically is a foundation that gives academic scholarships and fellowships and
PhD candidates, exactly.
Quite natural and normal that a former president of university would be on that foundation. It's kind of like in the wheelhouse.
Yeah. They're trying to connect the dots here that they don't connect. They're being disingenuous, to say the least.
Both of them, Rosenberg and Vern White, have served the Conservative Party of Canada with distinction. I mean, sorry, not Vern White. Rosenberg and David Johnston have served with distinction. I mean, Rosenberg, as we mentioned often, was the deputy minister to both Tony Clement and John Baird, two of Mr. Harper's inner circle within the cabinet. So you don't get that close to the king, or in his case, the emperor, right? If you're not vetted and trusted, right? Or close to your wife, as was the case as John Baird's deputy minister. And over here, David Johnston, you freaking made him royalty for 5 years.
Yes.
You gave him the power to decide whether or not your government falls. And you nominated him in a period where your government was looking like was going to face a not confidence motion at some point. So this is the guy that you recommended to the Queen. She appointed him on your recommendation. And I'm pretty sure that Stephen Harper, one of the most self-serving prime ministers that we've ever had, would not pick a governor general that he thought would have a 0.5% chance, right, of doing something that would embarrass him. I mean, considering the iron fist he kept on the party and his party of yahoos on issues like abortion for nearly a decade, and then he left, and then all the chickens came back home to roost. They've taken these two people, and as we mentioned before, earlier on in the Aga Khan thing, like this, the Aga Khan, who was made an honorary citizen of Canada. There was only two at that time, him and Nelson Mandela.
Yeah, two.
He's in the same category as Nelson Mandela. All right.
Yeah.
And they assassinated him as somebody that would be willing to bribe the government of Canada to get extra money for the Aga Khan Foundation, an organization that's been getting money from Canada every year since like the 70s or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And we love the guy so much that we made him an honorary citizen. Gee, what do you think are the odds he's going to get funding next year? I wonder. It's a mystery. This one's a real cliffhanger. Yeah, maybe we should have the prime minister over to the island to like grease that wheel because, gee, that money's in doubt. Come on. So there's no one they won't throw under the bus.
I was just about to say that. They will throw
forward and
under.
then back, forward and back. And this one's forward and back and forward and back and forward and back. Like what they are doing to this man. In my entire lifetime, anytime I have heard of David Johnston, the only things I have ever heard about this man is that he's decent, he's kind, he's a true public servant, he has statesmanship qualities up the yin-yang.
Oh, yeah.
He is dependable. He is not afraid to speak truth to power. He's one of those speak softly and carry big stick kind of guys. Right?
Yeah.
But now all of a sudden he's a man who can't be trusted, who's in the bag. And not only that, but they gave him a 5-year term, and then Stephen Harper extended his term by another 2
That's
years
right.
because he so could not be trusted.
Yeah.
So this is, the eating of the young. This, I mean, they're not even stabbing people in the back; they're just coming right up in the front and twisting and lifting, and this is ugly. It's disgusting. It's just, you don't treat people that way. And I'm thinking, like, here's the thing, right? When you say don't vote for assholes and vote for people who show that they have decency, if Pierre Poliver can give the okay to dispatch all the minions on a Get David mission, and this guy was named by his boss, big old Daddy Steve, who greased the way for him to become the leader by one of the things, ruining the day of the papal apology to Indigenous people by announcing that that's the day that Big Daddy Steve was coming down from on high to give his blessing and anoint PP as the next one. Oh, I see we have an empty cup.
Yeah, and I didn't brew a pot. That was tea because I still haven't picked up coffee.
So we have this. Yep. Spank, Mr. Grizzly. So this is, if he's willing to do that to the person who was our representative head of state, there is, like, other than the Queen, now the King, there is nobody higher in our system of government like this. The person who said that, willing to just casually throw them under. What the hell do you think he's going to do to you?
Yeah, he has now,
because you don't have the resources and the platform and the people defending, and 60 years of public service behind you and a reputation that everybody is aware of that to back you up, right? You're probably, the person with 2.4 kids and a dog and a mortgage and, baby parents at home who's working overtime and commuting an hour or 2 hours a day, who doesn't have time. How are you going to defend yourself against that?
Well,
if they're willing to do that to him,
exactly,
what have they got in store for you?
Yeah.
Stop voting for assholes.
The thing is, though, I wish we could get that message across. Stop voting for assholes, but we can't because the assholes keep telling the great unwashed, and I hate to say that, but the individuals who are incapable of critical thought, the individuals who, well, we saw them on display here in Ottawa for 3 weeks last winter. That group will pander to this because it's the old scenario of, the rich guy sitting at the table with a pile of cookies in front of him. Across from the table, across from him is a blue collar worker with two cookies or one cookie. I'll say two cookies.
A dozen cookies.
And
it's a plate of cookies.
And the guy in the middle is the refugee or the immigrant or the newcomer to Canada. And the rich guy with the mountain of cookies looks at the blue collar worker and says, "Careful, that guy right there is going to steal your cookies if you're not careful." And that's what we're getting. So Skippy is telling the individuals who don't realize they're being played like a fiddle. They don't know they're being played, but they're being played. He'll tell them the things they want to hear that reinforce their positive neuron firing receptors that make them feel good about themselves, about punching down on others. We need people to understand that they will not do anything for your own benefit. You'll be thrown under the bus as quickly as David Johnston was. They don't care. Yeah. They will say and do anything to gain power.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a great example of it. A man who is, you've got journalists now throwing Mr. Johnson under the bus.
Oh, yeah. Well, thank you. Let's do that right now.
Please.
Let's do that right now. One of the people who have been doing this big time is none other than Andrew Coyne.
That's where I was going.
Right?
Yep. That's where I was going.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
This guy, I do not know what his mission is here. Well, sorry, do not know what. I suspect something happened yesterday that gave me a lead, but he basically, I mean, he's been writing articles, and then he had this Twitter feed that, basically said, he's a man of unimpeachable character, or he's unquestionably a man of integrity, or that type of thing.
His integrity is
I'm
not
not
up for
questioning
question.
his.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then he immediately
But
questions his integrity. Like, Jesus, man. Can you look up hypocrisy in the dictionary? Because you're going to find your own photograph.
Yeah. So there was a whole thread. So it starts with, he starts with, well, here we go. Let's put it up here so that the kids can see it too. Let's see. I'll blow up a little bit. There we go. The huffy reaction in certain court questioning of the Johnston appointment is revealing. Where the subject to be investigated includes the conduct of the Prime Minister, it's the Prime Minister's responsibility, at a minimum, to appoint someone with whom he has no personal or professional connections. Speaking of huffy reactions, it is not the responsibility of others to overlook those connections. This is the foundation of public ethic rules. It is for the office holder to act at all times in a way that leaves no room for any doubt about his or her integrity, not for the public to stifle their doubts. In all of Canada, the Prime Minister could not have found someone who was not A, a lifeline close family friend, B, a previous appointee of his, C, a member of the Trudeau Foundation, or D, the chair of a foundation that received millions from the Trudeau government. Yeah, and then let's add the other criteria. People with the top secret level security clearance to be able to look all those documents, who would be able to be have it ready to go so that they could take the job and start running with it, not have the security clearance checked, who is also of unimpeachable character, who could also be agreed upon by conservatives or whatnot. If not frickin' David Johnston, who? Andrew Coyne?
Like,
when
no
you
matter
are a
who he
politician,
chose.
everybody that you know that would have those types of qualifications is somebody who you've probably had some type of connection or relationship to at some point in your life.
I was just
David
going to say.
Johnston had a relationship with both. They're all talking about him as if he's only served the Trudeau Foundation, the Trudeau family. He was Stephen Harper's choice for 7 frickin' whole years.
Yeah.
He was
scroll
Stephen Harper's choice also for the Oliphant Inquiry. And he was, so, I mean, like, come on, come on, right? This is just asking questions for the sake. Couldn't we have found this? Couldn't like, okay, so yeah, who is this person, Andrew Coyne? Give us a short list. I mean, they must be so plentiful, right? I mean, you're saying there's nobody in this whole country. That's usually a sentence. When I say that, really, there's nobody like this. They couldn't have thought of this person and this person. This person. Usually, I can rattle off 5 of them pretty quickly when you make that kind of statement. And there's the one. Nobody is questioning Johnson's integrity, but could a reasonable person be left to wonder, in view of their multiple social professional connections, whether Johnson's judgment might be colored, whether it might make it harder for him to imagine Trudeau doing wrong? Of course. No! So I'm not questioning his integrity. Now let me see. Could a reasonable person question his integrity? And then he answers it. Of course. I'm not questioning, but of course you can question it. He's actually saying that you can and giving you permission. Okay. No. A reasonable person, the key word in that tweet is reasonable. Given everything we know to be true about David Johnston, consistently, over decades, without a blip. No, it is not reasonable to wonder if that type of person is the type of person that would let a previous social or professional connection cloud their judgment.
let's go to the top of that Twitter thread. His very first tweet. I'd like to address that if I could. The very first tweet. Where the subject to be investigated includes the conduct of the PM, it's the PM's responsibility to appoint someone with whom he has no personal or professional connections. Okay. So shall I volunteer in tribute? Because quite frankly, Coin's being completely ridiculous here for obvious reasons. And one of them being they all travel in the same circles, right? They all have an association or an affiliation or a friendship or, oh, it looks like we've lost Mr. Beaver for a minute. We'll bring him back in a couple of seconds. They all have an association or affiliation with one another. They've all worked together in committees. It's near impossible to bring in somebody of David Johnston's caliber and integrity and not have some sort of connection with them in some way, shape, or form. It's damn near impossible. So unless, Prime Minister picks up the phone and gives me a call and says, hey, I saw you out in the streets defending your friends and neighbors in the blue jacket. Would blue jacket guy be interested in taking on this position? And I have many people that would, vouch to say that I'm a man of integrity. I'm a man of my word. Do you think that could ever happen? Of course not. I don't travel in those circles. I don't know the Prime Minister. Okay, great. But I don't travel in those circles. I've never been an elder statesman or an international statesman. I've never been a governor general. I've never worked in government, ever, despite what the Freedom Convoy people seem to think. I'm a working class dog. So I would never get a chance at something like that. So who the hell would Coin think would be an acceptable candidate for that position? I mean, really, the man is being completely ridiculous here. And David Johnston's, his integrity is not up for question. The man is unimpeachable. And this thing about he's a member of the Trudeau Foundation, that one really irks me because, yes, he's a member of a foundation that believes in higher education and funding people to do it. Conservatives hate that. Conservatives hate higher education. They hate critical thought because those of us who can discern and sort through their garbage and their crap and think critically, those of us who can do that, well, guess what? That would never give them the position of power they seek because we're capable of critical thought, because we have an higher education, because we've studied, because we've gone to school, because we're educated. We won't stand for their crap. So this is why they will impeach his character, and this is why they will continue to attack the Trudeau Foundation, which is a scholarship program for PhD candidates at the University of Montreal. That's all it is. It's not a think tank. It is literally a system named in tribute to former Prime Minister Pierre Elliott Trudeau, and it's just designed to give a hand up to those amongst us who need it to pursue our doctorals, our doctorate. It's for PhD candidates. So they're just being completely disingenuous, unrealistic, and Coin is adding to it because his overlords at Chatham Asset Management, because he's Postmedia. Is he not Postmedia? I think he's Postmedia. Pretty sure he's Postmedia. Anyway, Chatham Asset Management, the hedge fund. Pardon?
I believe so.
Yes. So, he's taking orders from on high, basically, is what it boils down to. Because he's not thinking critically here at all. Calling into question Trudeau's choice is ridiculous. In this case, it's absolutely ridiculous. This was Harper's guy. Number one. Number two, he should have chosen somebody he didn't have a connection to. Well, like I just said a minute ago, that's impossible because all of those folks who travel in those circles work together. They all know one another.
Yeah. And how do you pick somebody familiar in any way with their work. Right. And we're back again to the friend of Trudeau thing. Right. He's a friend of Trudeau. They went skiing together. Okay, like David Johnston's about 30 years older than than Justin Trudeau. He probably went skiing more with Pierre.
Yeah.
Which would be explain his role with the foundation, right? So it's more like his kids played with Justin's kids, right? But like, come on, man, come on, get close friends and plotting for see, even close friends. Yes, we avoid the semblance of it, but even close friends can take their bias away, right? That's why we go and ask our close friends to give us the truth.
I want to thank Tim for pointing us in the direction. So I was off the mark about him taking his marching orders from Chatham Asset Management. Yeah, he's at the Globe and Mail. So maybe this is his own thought. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. But the Globe and Mail is the paper.
I was wrong.
Yeah, but no, yes, okay, you're wrong. But the Globe and Mail is the paper that did recommend, of course, in the election that Harper eventually lost to Trudeau, to vote Conservative anyway. And give them, even if it was a minority like this, or even a majority, and then just have faith in the caucus would make Stephen Harper go. Really. So, Globe and Mail, take it with a salt lick. A whole handful of grains of salt. So, Coin continues in his, so that we can read it together. I do not know what's going on with the system. We keep freezing. There we go. So he continues. The point again is that the public should never be put in the position of having to wonder such things. We don't have to. We're not in that position. David Johnston is a man of unimpeachable character. I'm good with that. I'm not wondering a thing. And it is the office holder's responsibility to see that they aren't. It's not good enough for supporters to draw themselves up to their full height and exclaim, "How dare you insinuate?" This is not a court of law. The onus is on his critics or the public. The onus is on the PM. Of course, if the PM were really interesting and laying all doubts, as Stephen Gordon has said, he would have appointed someone who was mutually acceptable to the opposition. Again, who? Like, that type of sentence needs to be followed with such as A, B, or C. Instead, we get what looks like pretty much a deliberate provocation. Oh, come the fuck on, Mary. We've been deliberately provoked. Oh, God. Shall we fetch thee the fainting couch? Lady Coin. Serious. I should say that I do not include among the indictments of his appointment whatever he might have said on state visits to China as Governor General. Which then, of course, prompts everybody who doesn't like them to go on the internet. What did he say about China? Right? It's like, I won't include those indictments, but I will just mention them in passing so that you can find them for yourselves and you can use them and mention them. So passive aggressive. It's so passive aggressive. His recommendation to leave Airbus out of Oliphant inquiry, however, see previous tweets, should be counted against him. It was at best a serious error in judgment, at worst a failure of nerve. Judgment and nerve are surely among the most important job requirements. So I won't trash his reputation. I won't say he's not good, but watch me trash his reputation. And I won't refer to the things about China, but I'm going to mention them in passing. But the one thing I will mention is his Oliphant inquiry thing. He doesn't have judgment and nerve. He's pulling a Michael Cooper. I'm sure you looked into his eyes and he was very intimidated. David Johnston may not have the judgment and nerve for this job. It is so very demanding. Who, me? Being a bitch? So I was there. I was like, if nobody is questioning Johnston's integrity, then what's Coin's purpose in asking whether a person could reasonably wonder if a man with unquestionable integrity would throw reputation aside to allow himself colored judgment, only then to supply the answer, of course? That don't impress me much. And then this is where it gets juicy. Little kitties. Someone yesterday
Juicy, you have some explaining to do.
explaining to do. Mm-hmm. Now, I normally am not a fan of Twitter accounts that have just the egg
Yeah, I tend to block them.
and a name. And then when I look at the name, I see 28 followers.
Yeah, it's always suspect. Is that a bot?
Right. That's very, very sus. But that happened yesterday. And then behind this Pat Wilmot tweet, because here's the thing, right? Eggs are sometimes trolls and sometimes are people that are trying to drop pieces of information for people to look at
Right.
anonymously. I wonder how Sarah Coyne, who is a board member, feels about her second cousin Andrew helping to sully the foundation's reputation.
Well, that's interesting.
Which prompted a
Okay.
what?
Come again?
Which prompted Sheila Brofslavsky from me. So I'm thinking, okay, right? This is probably somebody trying to like stir the pot and all that kind of stuff. So of course, I go do my own research. Well, Trudeau Foundation Board of Directors. Sarah Coyne. Okay. But I mean, there's lots of people whose last name is Coyne, right? Sarah Coyne is indeed second cousin. And Sarah Coyne happens to work on the board of the Trudeau Foundation. And Sarah Coyne happens to be Pierre Elliott Trudeau's daughter. The daughter he had with Deborah Coyne?
Yeah.
After his marriage with Margaret Trudeau? So Andrew Coyne is all over the media, waxing about people with conflicts, questioning the integrity and the ethics of others, while commenting on a story that involves a foundation on which a member of his family to whom he is related sits. David Johnston just worked for the Trudeau Foundation.
He has
or
a
sat on the
family
board for like
member
this.
on
He's got family on the board. There's not one tweet or one article where he mentions that he's got a personal connection. Now, I do not know what his relationship is with Sarah, whether they get along or not.
They could hate each other's guts for all we know.
We don't know.
Remember Mara Wilson? Mara Wilson? Yeah, she's related to Ben Shapiro.
Mary Trump is related to Donald Trump.
Right. So maybe that's the same thing. We could be. But
so, yes.
If he's going to draw conclusions like that about David Johnston and his relationship with former Prime Minister, the late Pierre Elliott Trudeau,
shouldn't he be disclosing his personal relationships to some of the players in this?
One would think. People in glass houses.
Seriously, we're talking about conflicts and being compromised. That's the subject we're talking about. Andrew, raise your arms in the air. Turn your head about 45 degrees. Take a big inhale. Smell yourself. Wake up and smell your armpits, Andrew Coyne.
Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Check yourself before you wreck yourself.
All the beavers say you're not very fly for a white guy. I mean, we're writing about conflict and personal connections to play.
Yeah.
We have an expression in French. You know, we have pronouns for verbs and third person singular, il or elle. Right. We can also say on, a general, we, and we say in French, on exclut celui qui parle. On always excludes the person who's speaking. So we're doing this now. We're not me, right? Everybody, all of you, were, but not me. In this case, yeah, he's using the third person in that way. So we need a prime minister, or we need people that will, know better than to appoint someone with whom they've had a previous relation. I guess, but we don't need journalists that know better than to comment on stories with whom they have personal.
I'm gonna have to do that. I'm gonna have to do that, Ree.
Oh, Andrew, girl, no, just no. No,
Pot, kettle, introduce yourselves.
Wow.
Talk amongst yourselves. Jeez.
These people. What's wrong with these people? Oh my God. I'm saying it. It's like new and improved zero awareness, brought to you by Conservative Party of Canada Incorporated Products International. Just pour a little zero self-awareness in your cup. Take a nice sip. Squish it around and swallow. And instantaneously, you have absolutely no shame. Walk into any conversation, chin up and ass out, and make a statement. And have absolutely no consequence to your reputation or career as a result. Ah, yes, now boosted with 15% more white privilege. Seriously, man.
Yeah, I got nothing.
What?
My flabber has been gasted.
Your flabber's been gasted?
Yes. fully gasted.
Oh, man. I tell you, we live in a weird world.
To say the least.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah. A couple little things that I've got that just kind of, passed up. We have here Theo Fleury.
Oh,
Come on. I had to do this one, though. He put one up called, "If you're defending drag queen story time for children, you're literally outing yourself." Okay, first of all, I am personally happy that suddenly there's so many more gay people in the world. Civic improvements, everybody. We're renovating this damn place. All right, so let's go. Beautification.
you get a drag queen, and you get a drag queen,
You get a drag queen. You get a drag queen. Yes. Moisturize, accessorize, darlings. So, one, they hate drag queens because they're so dour they can't handle anyone having fun and living their best lives. Fabulousness is just not on the radar for them. And two, a true drag queen is more fabulous in a mere 5 seconds than some of these broken and thirsty ingrates have been in their entire miserable lives. There's your Shirley Julia Sugar Baker moment, kits. And then we got this one here, right? They keep on saying that Trudeau did nothing. And, we showed that clip of all the nothing that they'd done. Well, here's more nothing. In 2013, Stephen Harper signed a deal for combined China-Canadian military training. I had forgotten about that one. 2019, Justin Trudeau cancels the deal. And that's why the People's Republic of China wanted Justin Trudeau to win.
Yeah.
2020, Conservatives blame Trudeau for trading with Chinese.
The hypocrisy. This is just like, come on, people.
Here's the next one. We have Alex Pearson. I remember when accountability used to be a thing, not under the current leadership. It isn't. I remember when media folks were able to recall further back than 3 months. This exaggeration for effect fad has to end. The PM waived cabinet confidence for the Public Order Emergency Commission, only the 4th time in history that was done. Is that not accountability under the current leadership?
Mm-hmm.
Refresher. Over 8 hours of accountability being a thing under the current leadership, something never previously done under any leadership, or does Canadian history now start only the day after he did this? And then here's another 3/4 of an hour of accountability not being a thing, or being a thing under the current government leadership, complete with information on civics actions taken to date and clarity on how things were designed to operate. That was the press release that we showed clips from the other day.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really?
Yeah.
Like, he hasn't answered a question. Yeah, he has answered questions. You just didn't like the answers.
Well, isn't that PP's famous line? I did answer your question. You just didn't like the answer I gave you.
Yeah. Well,
when talking about how he didn't believe in big government programs.
Yeah, but that's not an answer to the question.
Mm-hmm.
When you're saying, like, did you like this? I was not. They say, the Prime Minister, they keep on representing this. The Prime Minister said that he knew absolutely nothing. The Prime Minister has admitted all along that he's been briefed on stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he has explicitly stated things that he has not been briefed on. He hasn't said specifically what he has been briefed on, but the things he has not been briefed on, he has ruled out, and he has said that he has been briefed. He can't tell you much more. That's the point.
Mm-hmm.
It's secret. So, you said he's done nothing. There's all the things he's done. You said that there's absolutely no accountability. He doesn't answer questions. Like, under this leadership, that never happens. Unprecedented historical access for the Public Order and Emergency Commission. When Hillary Clinton testified for 11 hours, that was our version of it. He testified for 8.
Mm-hmm.
Then came, like...
Yeah, no, it's just...
It's not... Why are we misrepresenting? Why are we going out of our way to misrepresent in such an obvious way? I mean, we all saw in November him sitting on a stand taking questions under oath.
Mm-hmm.
And then you turn around and says, we get no questions or accountability from this government, this current leadership. Like, I can't help you. I mean, I like to help, and I can lift some of the, but I can't help you with that. At that point. Another stupid thing.
It's just beyond. Like, some days I just beat my head against the wall because it's just so frustrating.
Yep.
I've already pulled out all my hair. I'm bald under this, right? So.
Yep.
Look, your beard fell out.
Yeah. Overnight. Here's another thing. Here's another stupid thing that we had happen recently. Members of the National Assembly adopt a motion saying Quebec is no more racist than elsewhere.
Really?
If you need to pass a motion.
I don't even know what to say to that.
Really? And of course, right? They're not saying Quebec is not racist. They're saying they're no more racist than anywhere else. So it's like, so do they realize that we are no more racist than elsewhere is still an admission that they are racist, but it's okay because they're the least racist of everyone? Now, where have I heard that before?
That's right.
I'm the least racist. Oh, yeah.
He's also the most humble person in the world, according to him.
Yes. I'm humble and I'm bragging about it.
Yes. You wouldn't believe how humble I am. I'm incredible. I'm so humble, it's ridiculous.
Quebec M&A motion. That, in the opinion of this House, the government of Quebec is in fact racist, but not more racist than any other racists. National Assembly. Adopted. Do you hear the words that are coming out of your mouth as the words are coming out of your mouth?
Clearly, they don't.
Now, again, more stupidity. Premier Scott Moe, who has never met an Alberta idea that he was not prepared to run with and make worse. The Saskatchewan First Act passed in the legislature this morning. This is a major step in defending our economic potential from federal overreach while we continue to build a strong and growing economy that benefits everyone in Saskatchewan. That's growth that works for everyone except the Indigenous people who are not consulted a lick on this bill and who will be taking it to court.
Good.
But Premier Moe says, oh, well, it's okay. We've got one line addressing that in that bill.
Uh-huh.
This law will eventually be challenged by a citizen of your province who will bring it to the Supreme Court. Will it will receive a mercy killing. And here's the oh girl. This one, her. Andrew $sign, cent sign here. The nearly $1 million man.
Mm-hmm.
Remember this guy? Remember this fucker?
Mm-hmm.
We haven't, as Larry Wilmore used to say on the show, we haven't forgotten about you, motherfucker.
Yeah.
This fucker got his hands. Now, the amounts vary. Sometimes we hear 900,000. Sometimes we hear about 700,000. It seems that we're settling on 700,000.
Yeah,
maybe some things have been included, but that's $700,000. That came mostly from political donations.
Mm-hmm.
Now, kids, I'm sure you are aware that political donations, when you make them, you can declare them on your taxes because there's such thing as a political donation tax credit. And it very, very, very generously. Like a lot of things, you get a tax credit, you get 13% of something or something. This one, you get way more.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's like 60 or something.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot. So, that portion of that $700,000 that was raised, that was covered by the political donation tax credit, is your money and my money, our tax dollars that were used, potentially abused and misused by this man. And then senior conservative funds refusal to share Scheer's $700,000 over budget expense detail council. Quote, if you're a donor, why would you want to give money if you can't get straight answers on what the hell's going on, says veteran conservative political insider Tim Powers. That was February 17th, 2020.
Mm-hmm.
It's been 3 years. We still do not have that report.
Well,
so Andrew Scheer.
Well.
True is using every trick to hide the truth about Beijing's election interference. It must be bad. We are forcing a vote next week to uncover the truth. No, they're not forcing a vote to uncover the truth. They have an opposition day and they're presenting a parliamentary motion. A motion is a measure that does not have the weight of law.
There's something I need to say this. I need to say this because I think it's important that people recognize when we do this, when we come out and show these things, a lot of people go, oh, you're just defending Trudeau. We're not defending anybody. We're showing hypocrisy.
We're anti-bullshit.
Exactly. We're not defending the Trudeau government. We're not defending Justin Trudeau. We are fighting against the misinformation, disinformation, and massive pile of bovine fecal matter. That's it. So you can go ahead. The people will, oh, you're Justin Trudeau's pocket. Yeah, I wish, because I still haven't made a dime off of this shit, man.
Bring it on, motherfuckers.
Pay me. I've spent $12,000 on gear. Pay us.
The thing that, if anybody happens to be hate watching,
yeah,
because like the thing you guys need to understand, right, is that I have a good sense of myself because I've done the work, because we're all hot messes. And then you got to go in and do the work.
Yeah.
You got to go in and do your work. I started doing my work a long time ago. It's a never-ending project.
Yeah, it's forever.
But you're doing your work.
The construction zone never ceases. It's always there.
I am very, 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 very clear on what are my ethics and my values. When it's me alone in a mirror, I know what I've done, and I'm good with it. There's absolutely nothing you can say that is going to affect me
No.
in that way. Because you cannot make me feel bad about myself without me giving you express permission to do that. And that is never going to happen.
Nope.
I do not take criticism from people from whom I wouldn't take advice. I don't know you.
It's
Why
true.
would I invest any emotional capital whatsoever? Why would I invest any of my self-esteem in what it is that you think about me when I don't know you from a hole in the ground? You are literally wasting your time, your breath, and your bandwidth.
Mm-hmm.
And my advice to you is that life is precious, and you could be doing much better things with it. So go out, buy one, rent one, lease one, borrow one, but get a life.
Get a life.
Because what you're doing is not living. And you're not affecting my life in any way. I don't care. I don't care if you don't like me. I don't care if you don't like what I have to say. I don't care if you get into a Twitter thing and I say, I'm sorry, I'm not going to engage in this conversation with you because you're a bore.
Mm-hmm.
Or you're boring, which is the cardinal sin on Twitter. And then you go, oh, well, you should have a discussion with me. What, you can't handle? Listen. You can talk to me like we're on a school ground, like we're 4 years old. I triple dog dare you to have a debate with me. And I'm like, I'm not 4. I'm a grown-ass man. You're wasting your time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's just, so if you want to have it, have at it. Right? One of these things I do when people try to engage me on that one is like, okay, I'm gone now, but I'm just going to put you on mute and block. And if you're the type of person that I must absolutely have the last word, then go ahead. And then of course they go ahead and respond. And it's like, and then I just like, of course you did. Right. Thank you. I tell you, kids, we're in some really crazy times here. We're in some really, really crazy times. And then, of course, we got to Leo Husakos, who's also getting in on that. And like, this is the guy, right? $6,000 he had to return in the Senate expenses scandal, I believe it was. And I believe also he accepted a trip to China in April 2017 at the invitation of a Beijing-based wealth management firm without disclosing it as either sponsored travel or a gift. And he was on the payroll of Groupe BPR Incorporated when it was awarded a $1.5 million government contract while he was a senator. Apparently that information was corrected afterwards.
How convenient.
He claims he got moved to another division or something like that, but it's still the company anyway, or subsidiary or
I like the hypocrisy. The hypocrisy needle is off the charts on this one.
Yeah, Leo the Lion. This guy right here.
Mm-hmm.
This guy.
Yeah, that fella.
Greasy, 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 greasy. The same. And of course, he's the conservative, I think, leader or speaker in the Senate. So, of course. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the greasiest of them all? Oh, man. These people.
I'm telling you. It's ridiculous.
But, right? Oh, God. All right. What else have we got? Let's see if we got some little tidbits here for you. Yeah, that banking thing.
Mm-hmm.
If it's been going on. Yeah. If you are holding on to your armrests going, now I've tried to remain calm about it. There's something that happens to me. I don't know what it is, but every time I make my RSP contribution, no matter when it is, I can make it early in November, or I can make it in March. About 1 week after it, something happens where everything I bought just drops. So I buy it and then it drops and then I have to recover it before it starts to grow. I don't know why, but I always seem to have. When they say don't time the markets, kid, you can't. Right?
It's true.
Because I've been contributing to my RSP over 20 years. I think 15 of the 20 years within weeks I bought my purchase. It dropped about 10 to 15. Oh, yes. Buy your RSP and then have a market correction. Yay. But this one is not a raw market correction. This is
A crash.
a crash. So this is not my field of expertise, but what everybody seemed to be concerned about was something called contagion. When this happens, is that something
It's like a
happens
viral
with one.
outbreak.
Right, something happens with one bank, and then something happens with another one, and then people get scared and they start to pull their money and all that kind of stuff. So the best that I can understand it, what I'm hoping to have maybe somebody with an economic background come at some time and give us some more information, is that the rising interest rates, the quickly rising interest rates, made it so that the first of the banks needed to do some things to recapitalize or ensure that they had more capital.
Mhm.
And the interest rates went up faster than they were able to do that. Or in the case of SVB, it seems that they opted not to try to recapitalize. And then when they needed more money, I think they decided to recapitalize would a venture economic or electronics sort of company.
Mhm.
So we've spent all our money, but we need more money to keep with the development of this. So we're going to go back on the market, do another proposal, get more money, and then issue more shares on the venture exchange. But when you're a bank and you go out and you say, we need an extra $2 billion in order to be able to recapitalize to make sure that we're liquid to continue providing banking services, that's not exactly the same thing as we need an extra $2 billion to take this project into the next phase of this product, until the next phase of testing.
It's all bad.
Because we put the money in and we expect to have a better product, but when we put $2 billion in to save the liquidity of your bank, we're not necessarily sure we're going to get a better bank. So I don't think that they planned on that. And then all of a sudden, as soon as they announced that, well, then people said, oh my God, it's like, get your money out. So people got their money out. Companies, until about the tune of about $42 billion. And then the next day, depositors came and took money out to about the tune of another 10. So apparently that's what's called a run on the bank. So the bank had about $50 billion, went to the market to seek $2 extra billion of capital, and then had $52 billion pulled out of it by its depositors and investors. Oops. So, yes. And then there seemed to be some issues with Credit Suisse, which is a very, very big international bank. And then things really took a dive. So there is an I can't remember. Yeah. So I believe in Switzerland, I think the government has said that they were going to backstop it, and that stopped that. And in the United States, they had taken actions to seize the assets of SVB to try and prevent the contagion here. In Canada, we've taken control of the assets of the Canadian branch of SVB to help prevent a contagion here. And even though Canadian banks have taken a little dip, it's been nothing like the U.S. banks on the markets. So ours seem to be relatively shielded from this. And then yesterday, it seems to be, yes, as our friend Kit James from What You Can Do says, fellows, that's what we get from rolling back. Jake. God, I keep on mixing.
You keep
Why
saying
do
James.
I do that?
I don't know. It's Jake.
I
Your
know
pal
it's
Jake.
and I know. I know it's Jake, and I keep saying James. I don't. Saucy laughs and peasant. Yes, as Jake is saying, yes, that's Dodd-Frank, right? It's Trump rolled back Dodd-Frank for all.
I had it
Dodd-Frank
confused.
for all about.
I had it confused with Glass-Steagall.
Yeah,
which it was another banking regulation there.
Right.
Anyway.
Right. Yeah. But for all except like the 15 most capitalized banks. So you had banks that had valuations that were managing assets valued at like $250 billion, being treated like they were a small regional bank under those loosened regulations. So one of those small regional banks, which is what happened yesterday, First Republic, then also had some issues, but some of the largest banks got together and took $30 billion and said, okay, we're going to like shore you up to help prevent the contagion there. And that's what prompted the stock market to rebound yesterday, finally. So hopefully we will not get another bit of news this morning as soon as we close the show. There's another bank that's on fire.
I have something for you. I have something for you. Let me just take care of something here. Give me a sec here. I've got a. Okay, so you remember the photo of Pierre Poliver celebrating? Was it his wife's birthday or his birthday?
I think it was his wife's birthday.
Wife's birthday. He had a cake and he's holding the cake and he was going, he photoshopped his bicep. He photoshopped his bicep. Well, I have a Photoshop expert well, here, I'll just put this on the screen and you tell me. He says, I can assure you, all the woke keyboard warriors are saying Pierre Poliver photoshopped his bicep. As an expert, I can assure you he did not. So if you're listening, it's the famous photo of Pierre with his wife and the supposed Photoshop of his bicep. And it has a new tattoo on it. A new tattoo that was floating around the internet the other day that a fella got. And why would you do that? I don't know. It was the F. Trudeau tattoo. He said, I can assure you it's not been Photoshopped. Look, I think that's hilarious. And I needed a laugh.
What is it with I mean, if this was photoshopped, I mean, what was it? Like, was Aaron O'Toole's legs and then abs and then now really? So it's, again, it was like our guy is more manly than your guy, or what was it? Sauce. I mean, they did forget to add the muscle to the rest of Poliver's arm.
Well, this is the thing. It's like I've been told by a number of people that it actually was photoshopped. I'm like, I don't know. That could be real. And they're like, no, a lot of people said it was photoshopped. And I've heard that. So I'm like, oh, wow, okay. So, but there are instances where they did Photoshop Aaron O'Toole. They made him thinner and his legs bigger. And I'm like,
yes.
Did he drop 30 pounds from yesterday?
And they flattened his stomach and gave him some packs and yeah. And more stupidity, kids. I'm sure you've all heard of the story of that hockey player at Maryhurst University who went to a bar called Sullivan's that was upstairs, and there was a young lady's wheelchair up there, and he decided to casually just toss it down the stairs
because he thought it would be funny.
Yeah.
Somebody tried to defend him, say, well, he's just a kid. No, he's 23.
Yeah. Well, this from our good friend Kit Ray posted this one yesterday. Mr. Grizzly, if you would put it up. Thank you very much. Statement from Mercyhurst University. Mercyhurst University has heard a considerable outcry regarding the social media video student Carson Briere showing him pushing an unoccupied wheelchair down a flight of stairs. Mr. Briere today issued a statement taking responsibility for his actions, and in doing so, he recognized his behavior reflects a, quote, serious lack of judgment, and that he is, quote, deeply sorry. The actions displayed in the video make our hearts heavy and fall short of our mercy belief in the inherent dignity of each person. We pray for and are in solidarity with the victim and all persons with disabilities who rightfully find actions like this to be deeply offensive. Our mercy tradition also reminds us that students and all people who make poor choices deserve opportunities to learn, change behaviors, and atone for harmful actions. Okay, kids, gonna ask you. Good statement? Or could be better? What do you think? We'll just wait for some things to come up here. All right. Well, while you're debating that, this is terrible.
Yeah.
This is terrible. Mr. Grizzly, if you would. That was my reaction. Mm-hmm. The statement seems to exist merely to amplify Briere's alleged apology. thus making him look better, and indicates that the totality of the university's response for such, quote, harmful actions was to, wait for it, pray for the victim. Now, of course, it's a wheelchair thrown down a flight of stairs. I mean, nobody got injured, nobody got hurt, nobody got cancer, nobody's food was taken off their plate, nobody went hungry, nobody went homeless as a result. But, like, that's just a douchey thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, why? Why? And then, of course, this happened, which has warmed my heart. Got a picture of the young lady and staff from Sullivan's. And she states, "Hi, I'm Sydney, and it was my chair that was pushed down the stairs. I'm so thankful for all of Sullivan's help in this situation and the kind comments I see on Julia's post. I swear I really don't want to keep a cent of the donated money. I'd much rather give it to those who need it."
I like that.
Okay.
I like
Okay.
that a lot. Yeah.
Carson, how do you look now?
Not good.
Tone and countertone, kids. Tone and countertone. Juxtaposition often makes all the difference. And we got one last little thing here that I've done. I've created our first ever official meme, Mr. Grizzly. When it comes to election integrity, who are you more inclined to believe? Hashtag, let's cut the bullshit. We have Pierre Poliver, re-elected in 2006 in an election that led to the CPC pleading guilty to exceeding election spending limits and submitting fraudulent election records. They cheated. He benefited. He got re-elected. Author of the infamous and ill-fated so-called Fair Elections Act, his only legislative accomplishment in nearly 2 decades in office. Has a lifetime compliance agreement with Elections Canada as a result of the event in which he is pictured here, during which he used public funds from his departmental budget for partisan purposes during an election. In other words, he cheated. Routinely avoids or attacks the media to deflect inconvenient questions. Justin Trudeau. 0 guilty pleas for electoral crimes. After greater than 7 years of governance, 0 criminal or civil court convictions or charges, 0 trials, 0 police investigations. Created 2 election oversight bodies, to at least one of which the CPC objected. Waived cabinet confidence for only the 4th time in our history for the Public Order Emergency Commission, and then testified for about 8 hours. Routinely engages the media. I'm not going to tell you what the answer is.
It should be, paint the obvious picture.
But there you go. Because, we like to help.
Well,
Clarity. We like to offer clarity.
I think I understand why they photoshopped Aaron O'Toole, and I know this is completely separate from what you just discussed, but this is why they photoshopped O'Toole and Skippy. Here we have Pierre Trudeau displaying the peacock yoga pose on the shores of Nahanni River, Northwest Territories, 1970. Son Justin Trudeau photo in a similar pose making social media rounds this week. And that's the photo. Like father, like son. Something tells me that photo is such a threat to insecure cons who would always call us the snowflakes. But they're so insecure that they have to Photoshop. Okay, the tattoo obviously isn't real, but the bicep has been pumped up. We've seen the photos of Aaron in a suit on a Tuesday, looking portly, and on a and on a Wednesday, he's in a a t-shirt is suddenly he has rippling thighs and a flat stomach. It's like, well, did he lose 30 pounds overnight? Because I don't, how? Yeah. So something
Aaron
tells
O'Toole
me
had a sudden visit with Hans and Franz.
It would seem that they just seem to be so intimidated by somebody who is clearly in touch with their own masculinity, whose wife is a yoga instructor too, by the way, and he's a boxer, and this was his father, and they were both into athletics. So
Ooh, our friend Jake says, for the record, I'm somewhat convinced that St. Paddy's Day is going to be the day in regards to a certain orange ne'er-do-well. Are we talking indictments dropping? Indictments dropping? Indictments dropping?
Ooh, that could make me
Oh,
a happy
is it Christmas
grizzly.
in March? Is it Christmas in March? It would definitely be a very lucky day if indictments dropped today. Hercules, Hercules, Hercules. All right, Mr. Grizzly. I think we have a show.
We do indeed, good sir. We
Yes, we
do
do, because
indeed.
I got to be on a bus in about 37 minutes.
Well, believe, good luck, and good fortune follow a good heart.
There you go.
Tis
Kids.
the feast of St. Patrick, so pour yourself a pint of Guinness or perhaps a Jameson's whiskey. And if you're so lucky to have a bottle of Slane, pour yourself a nice dram. I know dram is a Scottish word, but we're Canadian. And today everybody is Irish. Pour yourself a wee shot of Slane if you have it. And if you don't, a JMO will do, or a pint of Guinness. Raise your glass to the feast of St. Patrick.
So, okay, let's see. You slipped into Scottish at the end. Let's see if I can get the Irish to finish since I started in Scottish. We don't discriminate. If you're Scottish, you can be Irish.
Well, it's called the Skyrish accent in some parts of Canada. Nova
Yes.
Scotia and parts of Newfoundland, where there's other parts of Newfoundland where the accent, like Antigonish, that area, no, Antigonish, no, Placentia, Argentia, Placentia, that area of Newfoundland, that the accent there is indistinguishable from somebody from Cork. I mean, indistinguishable. It's identical. It's so much so that I met a woman from Cork, and I put on my best Irish accent that day, and she thought I was from there.
Ooh, nice.
I had to tell her. I said, "No, I'm only kidding." She said, "Oh, Jesus, I thought I had somebody from home."
Well, kids, that's the end of this episode of the Daily Beaver podcast. We hope you love listening to us because we love making this for you. Remember that sharing is caring and word of mouth is priceless. So let your peeps know about us. Because democracy is something you do. Well, keep doing what it is we've been asking you to, eh? Write your MPs, your MPPs, your senators, your media people. Let them know that you don't like this shite.
Get up in their faces.
Yeah. Give them some what for. If you really like this podcast, you can find us on Crier Media Network as well as all Beaver Grizzly friendly platforms. Stars and reviews are appreciated. We love to hear from you, so reach us on our Facebook at the True North Eager Beaver, our Twitter feed at True Eager, or email by truenortheagerbeaver@gmail.com. And now I'm going to my regular voice because I cannot maintain this for more than 30 seconds without flipping into a whole bunch of other. I'm going to end in German if I continue. You can subscribe via Podpage, podpage.com. The True North Eager Beaver. Get lucky. Achtung.
Das ist German. Ja.
Das ist German. Today I'm Irish. Ah. You can subscribe via Podpage, podpage.com, at the True North Eager Beaver, with a hyphen between each one of those words. Why not also subscribe to our True North Eager Beaver Media Incorporated YouTube channel? That helps us out big time. And the numbers, Mr. Grizzly, holy crap. I don't know what's happened lately, but we're at 191.
Yeah.
I remember asking at 162 just like a few weeks ago. We had just crossed 160 or something.
The channel is growing, so thank
accelerating. Yeah, absolutely. We can't do this without your kind and generous support. So if you feel that we've done a particularly good show, well, then if you click on that thing, if you scan your camera on that thing above Mr. Grizzly's head over there, and buy him a pint of Guinness, and well, you know what?
Today's the day to buy me a pint of Guinness.
Today's the day to buy him a pint of Guinness. You know what? And hey, I'll try one. There we go. So one for me too, please. So if you scan that brings you to our coffee page. And if you are listening, then you need to take those lovely little digits on those hands of yours and clickety-click your way to coffee, ko-fi.com/eagerbeaver. That's ko-fi.com/eagerbeaver, all in one word, lowercase letters, to make your generation your generation, to make your donation, your generous donation is what I meant to say, not generation. Kind of combined the words. What's a generation? It's a generous donation. To make your generous donation, and for which you will earn our loyalty and our gratitude. Of course, you have it already, but we have to try and sweeten the pot. And hopefully, we'll have merch for you soon. From the Eager Beaver Lodge, this is your Eager Beaver saying, until next time, dear kits, it can be a tough world out there, so please be kind to and gentle with yourself, and if you happen to see a 4-leaf clover, you know what to do. Mr. Grizzly, do you have some words of wisdom for us before we go, other than buy us beer? Send money. Send the green.
I do, actually.
Oh,
I do have something for you. And if you are of a certain age and are familiar with this, you will know it quite well. And shepherds we shall be, for thee, my lord, for thee. Power hath descended forth from thy hand, that our feet may swiftly carry out thy command. So we shall flow a river forth to thee, and teeming with souls shall it ever be. In nomine Patris, et Filii, in Spiritus Sancti. That's from the Boondock Saints.
there you go.
I screw up the Latin part because I'm trying to say something in Latin in an Irish accent, and it doesn't work well.
Mr. Grizzly, please roll the credits.
I can do that. I have the capabilities.
All right.
You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver Media Podcast. The True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Miss V Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters. CanadianTarot.com, your uniquely Canadian online eclectic tarot community and forum, and the Pepper Master, hot pepper sauces made from fresh farm ingredients to thrill your taste buds and expand your mind.
Happy St. St.
St. Irish.
Day. I'm so sleepy.
There we go. There we go. There's a little screen grab for anybody who's interested. That's the prayer from the Boondock Saints, Veritas Equitas. And being today's St. Patrick's Day, I'll be at the pub later having a pint of Guinness with my lads. But we'll see you tomorrow for this. Welcome to the place where everyone knows your name, where everyone's your friend, where good times are had by all. Sit back, relax, pour yourself a beverage and enjoy our company. I know we'll certainly enjoy yours. Welcome to the True North Eager Beaver PubCast. Once a month, we gather at the Lieutenant's Pump at 361 Elgin Street in downtown Ottawa, Canada's capital city, bringing you joy and happiness all day long. How are you doing?
That's my best Irish clogging.
Missing a jig. All right.
That's my best jig. All right. And as our friend Kit Jake says, if you happen to drink too much today and you happen to meet your maker, may you be in heaven a full 30 minutes before the devil knows you're dead.
This is an Irish thing. May the road rise up to meet you.
Bye.